Hello and welcome to Astra schedule training for Bluegrass Community Technical College. My name is Bruce Manley and I work at the Winchester-Clark County campus, and I have been in charge of Astra training and scheduling for a while now. So if you have any questions or issues, feel free to contact me. We're going to learn a little bit today about everything you need to know, the basics of scheduling in Astra, what Astra looks like, and where to go. So we're going to start with our Bluegrass homepage. I have found that the best web browser to use for Astra 8 is going to be Firefox. Now, for some reason, seems like different desktops, different computers work in different ways, and you might want to try some other web browsers to see what works best for you. But for me, Firefox has worked consistently for Astra, so I would recommend using Firefox. If Firefox is not working, try another browser, and that might be a good way to troubleshoot your issue. But I am going to start by going to the web page. You want to go to bluegrass.kctcs.edu, and then when you get to our web page, you'll see a link at the top for faculty and staff, and we've made it really easy under tools right here to have a direct link to Astra schedule, and that takes you into the login page. It's going to automatically ask you here to sign in. If it doesn't automatically ask you, there is a sign in button right here in the top right. A lot of times you can use Astra as a visitor and you don't have to sign in. So when people get in and say, oh, I can't schedule an event, what's going on? Well, basically it's because they forgot to sign in or they've been timed out. So make sure you check that you are logged in. You log in with your regular KCTCS username and password, just like I'm doing here. Don't look at my password. And it will connect and bring you to the homepage screen. The homepage screen looks a little different from the previous Astra version if you were using Astra version 7. The basics of Astra 8 are the same if you were in Astra 7, but the look is a little different. And there are a few different little things that you need to go to. But as you can see, it's kind of welcoming. It's showing you today's events at Lexington. It's showing you today's events at regional campuses. Some announcements and holidays, and then this is just some news that we can customize to let you know what might be coming up with Astra. We're always doing upgrades and changing things a little bit, so we will make those announcements right here. But your main menu is here at the top. You can go to your home screen. Then we're going to talk about calendars. We're going to talk about academics. We're going to talk about events, reporting, and settings. Now, if you do not have all of these, like your settings, since I'm the main Astra contact for the college, I might have a few more options that you don't have. So don't let that discourage you. My screens might look a little more cluttered, but you still have all the options to schedule and view events and sections just like I do. So what we'll do is we will start with calendars. It's a few different options in calendars. We have available rooms, calendars, and scheduling grids. I'm going to show you scheduling grids first because it's the most frequently used. It's the easiest to see exactly what is going on. If you are familiar with spreadsheets and being able to do some filtering, some pivot tables, and some data manipulation in spreadsheets, you're going to feel right at home in Astra because basically it has a spreadsheet type feel view to it here. The first thing that you're going to realize is that You have a list of rooms for each row, and then across each column it's going to show the date and time. We have a master calendar and we have a filter. If you choose that filter, a drop down, you can see that we have set up several different options. We've tried to add every building in this list. If you see something that needs to be added there, just let me know. We can get it added. And since I'm at the Winchester campus, I like to use Winchester as an example, so you can see that today's date is April the 3rd. And you can see a grid of what all is going on today at Winchester. We have some events outside. J2 outside is the blood drive today. Events are going to be highlighted in green, and then class sections are going to be highlighted in blue. We had a music 222 class that met today. You can hover over that and see some additional details. You can see that there were 19 students enrolled. You can also see the instructor name. Dr. Foote teaches our history of rock music here. She does an excellent job of that, and the students enjoy taking her class. We also can filter this in different ways. You can always sort the column, and it will sort it out alphabetically, just like any other type of spreadsheet. We have room capacities here and building numbers. Now, building numbers and campus locations are not very user-friendly in Astra, just because we are importing data over from PeopleSoft. And all the codes that are used in PeopleSoft are the same codes that we use in Astra Schedule. So I'm going to attach to your email training a little cheat sheet that I call Astra Campus and Building Codes. It's kind of a crosswalk. It's sorted by campus, so if you want to know at the Cooper campus what the code is to filter on the Cooper campus, well, that's just BLC. Then we have 3 buildings at Cooper. We have the Academic Technical Building, the Maloney Building, and Oswald Building. And those codes are going to be coded like J0ATB, or if you want to look at the Lawrenceburg campus, the code is 16AN. Newtown campus is coded with a J1NCB for Newtown Classroom Building. J1NME is the Newtown McGowan Building. We have our Newtown Science Education Center. And the Winchester is J2WIN. So this kind of gives you a breakdown of what the campus codes are and what the building codes are, because sometimes they're not abbreviated in the most obvious way. But like I said, we are using the standard codes that are being brought over from PeopleSoft. PeopleSoft is populating a lot of this data, especially the class schedule data. It's on a 5-minute update, so as soon as you change the class information in PeopleSoft, you should see that reflected in just a few minutes on the Astra side. Astra is being used by KCTCS for facility reporting, so every little nook and cranny is reported in Astra. So you might see storage buildings, you might see restrooms, you might see maintenance rooms, things that wouldn't normally be associated with putting a class in or scheduling a meeting in. I can't think of any reason why someone would want to have a meeting in a restroom, but you never know. But it's not because that option is there because we have meetings in restrooms all the time. It's because we are using Astra data to report our facilities to CPE. And that CPE data is used for performance-based funding. So it's very important that we keep everything accurate and up to date in Astra for that. If you want to do a custom filter on this, you can do an advanced search option. it pulls up another column here, and when you look at the basic filtering, it looks a little overwhelming. Sometimes too many choices make it complicated, but there's so many different options that you can do in Astra. So this is the filter for the Winchester campus. If you look at that, I have our campus code, BLC WNCHTR, selected. I can add to that and select from all the many different codes in the system. You'll notice that all the codes are here from a historical perspective. That includes Central Kentucky Technical School, LCC. We have to keep all those historical codes in there, because if we ever pull a report that goes back in time, that data has to be there for us to report accurately. So that's why these crosswalks and these campus codes are important, because it's not very obvious to know exactly where things are in this list. You can always do a search, and if I want to change this to the Leestown campus, I can put in BLCL, and then that pulls up options for the Leestown campus and the Lawrenceburg campus. So I can add Winchester and Leestown here. I can even choose the building if I want to, choose the room type or the room number. And if I know that I want to look for a specific room, I can type in 203, gives me all the 203s. Region and room type is, okay, is this a biology lab? Is it a classroom, lecture room? Is it a computer lab? You can even filter down to that specific of data if you want to. You want to include your events. We've got all different options for meeting types. You want to include academics. You can drill down to subject, course, instructor, delivery method, and the term. And once you've included all the information you want to, you can hit search. It refreshes the data, and now not only are we seeing the Winchester campus, but now we're seeing the Leestown campus in this list as well. Any kind of search you can always do a custom filter on. You can save your search, name it, and then go back and create your own drop downs. So I've created a Winchester drop down here, goes back and filters my Winchester data. We've tried to make it easy though. If I close the advanced search option, that really primarily a lot of users just use this filter drop down, and this is where a lot of the data is going to be stored. One thing, if you have a lot of rooms, maybe we want to see not the admin building, but maybe we want to see the classroom building. And maybe there's a lot of rooms here that you don't see. You might want to look at your pages here. This is page 101. Sometimes if it displays a certain amount, it'll put it on multiple pages. So you just kind of have to tab over through multiple pages. Another thing that I like is that any spreadsheet that you see on Astra, you can export to Excel. And then you can massage and filter and manipulate the data even further. I like that option. So if you're scheduling a meeting and you want to schedule at the Winchester campus, because I like using Winchester as a example because it's near and dear to my heart, you basically want to know what rooms are available and if you can schedule a meeting in a certain room. If you look and hover over the room data, you can see a picture of the room, you can see a capacity, you say, oh yeah, I like how that room is set up. It's got some features, it's got a computer in there, it's a smart classroom, it's handicapped accessible, so you can schedule your meeting based on the features of the room just by hovering over that little icon to the left of the building code and then the room number. And once you look at 116, you can say, okay, there's a class here, but we can do a meeting at 1 o'clock. So all you have to do for a meeting is just click the cell on where you want it, and it automatically populates the time. For a single meeting, it's really easy. We're just going to do a one-time meeting, 1 to 2 p.m. and we want it on April the 3rd. We're going to type in an event name. We are going to Party Hardy. And then we know we want that in room 116. So I'm just going to populate. It's going to pull up all the rooms 116 across the whole college. And I know that I want J2 WIN because I know that's the Winchester campus. The event type, we have a lot of different options. Mostly we're just doing meetings, but select whatever works for you. There's no mistake. In the words of Bob Ross, only happy mistakes. So you really can't mess too much up here. But a lot of what we're doing is just going to be a meeting, and then put a contact. So if this meeting is for someone else that I'm scheduling in my department, make sure to put that person's name. So maybe this meeting is for Joy Trent. Even though I am the scheduler, this meeting is being ran by Joy Trent. And then that way, if something happens and we have to find out who the owner of this meeting is, it's not by who scheduled it, it's who's running the meeting. So always the contact should be there. If you don't see the person's name in the contact list, please contact me, bruce.manley@kctcs.edu, and I add people to that customer contact list. When you're done, all you have to do is hit save, and it will put that we are partying hardy on the list. That's nice, because now what if I said, oh, well, we're going to party hardy, but we better do that outside of work time. So let's scoot that down. Let's have a little event after we get off work. Well, we can just kind of drag that over here like this, and we're going to say right at 4:30, we're going to start to party. And are you sure you want to move this event? Yes. It is processing. So you can move times. You can move it up and down across different rooms. Maybe we want to put it in the conference room at 4:30. So we can do that as well. So a lot of different options when scheduling a room. And really that's the most basic. You've got it scheduled. You're there. If it's a one-time meeting, it's really, really easy. What if I want to cancel this meeting? I hover over it. I go to Event Details. It pulls up the details of the meeting. And I go to Event Status. Pull down the menu that has the little edit pencil in it. And I want to cancel the meeting. And I hit Save. And now it's canceled. If we go back to our scheduling grid, hopefully you will see that the magic has happened and that the schedule is no longer on there. I guess we go back to the Winchester schedule in our filter grid, and sure enough, nobody is partying at BCTC anymore. So that's the basics of adding a single event, canceling a single event, moving a single event, changing the date and time. Now, what if you have a recurring event, or if you need multiple rooms? Well, that's easy as well. Let's go back, start our event. We can click on any cell, and we do that by selecting multiple meetings. We wanted to go to 4 to 5 p.m. Let's do 6. You can choose any date. Maybe it's on a random pattern. And we're going to meet 3 times here. Make sure that your final list ends up over here on this right column. Once you have your date selected and your time, you can add over. Please enter a group name. So, we like to party here at Winchester, especially if you bring food with you. We will do anything to accommodate a potluck here. So we're going to party hardy with the potluck. And you can see that these are our 3 dates. What if your 3 dates need different times? Well, I'm going to add a 4th date in and change my time back to maybe the lunch hour. Let's do 11 to 1. We're going to take an extended potluck here. I'm going to add that in too. So once you move all of your events on a multiple pattern to the right side, if it looks good, you can say, oh, I'm going to delete that one, delete that one. I'm just going to keep these 2 here. Put in your event name. Select your room again. Do all of our meetings in our conference room here at the Winchester campus. You can also find a room with this little icon if you want to. Here, your filter basically looks the same as it does before. You can save filters if you want to. You can add campus or delete campuses. And here we're going to select rooms. If it's unavailable, you hover over it, and you can see that in 207 on this day, we're going to have the Lee County 8th graders come for a tour at Winchester. So make sure you remember us on that day because we're going to have a lot of kids running around. So you can schedule a room like that as well. I'm going to go ahead and cancel because I've already got my room filled in right here. The event type, like I said, I just default to meeting a lot, contact. I am actually scheduling this one for myself at BCTC, and then I can save it. And now I don't see it here because I didn't schedule the meeting on April 3rd. I scheduled it on multiple days. So how can I go back and view that meeting? Well, we can either change our calendar to one of the days, April 27th, and we can see that we've partied hardy here. Or we can go over to our events tab. If you go to the events tab at the top and click on events, instead of looking events up by the calendar day, maybe you want to look the event up by the event name or what all's going on at a certain campus in a certain room. We can do that here by saying, well, I want to go back to that party hardy. So I'm going to find it by putting in a keyword. Let's find everything with party. Going on this month, you can do today. Make sure that this month, we're going to take out those dates. You can choose Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday if you want to just look on a certain day. And then you've got a lot of options here. Here we're searching just at the Winchester campus. You might want to search at another campus. You might want to search by building, room, scheduler, approver, whatever it is, you can hit search. And hopefully it'll populate everything with the word party in it going on this month at the Winchester campus. So, man, we do party a lot. We party here more than what I thought we did. So here's our event here. Oh, look, this is going back from 2012. But this is our most current one, Partying Hardy on April the 12th. And I can hover over that and get more information, or I can see that it's part of a multi schedule. I can view event details. Pulls up more information. Remember, this is where we canceled. But what if you want to add another meeting down here or change the room? Well, we can do that down here. And it looks like we have April 27th and April 12th. What if we want to delete the April 12th one? We can delete selected. Are you sure? Yes. and it looks like it kept it here, but it took the room out. So that's really what's important. It kind of just made it to where it's no longer there. And I thought it would take away altogether, but evidently not. The important thing is dropping the room out of it, because we got the other room there. What if we want to change the room on this one? So we've dropped this section. We're going to only party on the 27th. We've got this section, but we want to change the room. You can highlight that one and hit assign room. And here's the other neat thing. Maybe you've got multiple rooms. Maybe we want to party throughout the whole building. So you can select as many rooms as you want to. We want to reserve the whole building that day. And it's going to add a line, a row for each room during that time. But really, when it comes down to it, we don't want to keep this on the schedule for training purposes, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel the whole thing and save it. So a lot of options. You can add a meeting down here, edit, assign rooms, assign resources. We don't use resources here. That's if you want to like check out a laptop or make sure that you have maybe an overhead projector. And does anybody use those old overhead lamps anymore? You know, if you need to check out some kind of equipment for the room, that's what that option's for, but we don't really use that here at BCTC. So we want to save that we've canceled, and that is how we look things up on our event list. The nice thing about the event list, we were able to go back, find our Party Hardy meeting. I love it that you can pull up an event list for a certain day, certain campus, certain room, and export that to Excel, and then I can email it to all my friends that like to read Excel spreadsheets. All right. So the third part of Astra is looking at academics. Like I said, I've got a lot of things here that your screen might not look the same, but the sections is what is important for you. If you just want to know what is going on, here is a spreadsheet view of classes. Pretty much your filter over here at the left is the same. I have created custom filters for every semester that I work in on a regular basis. So right now I am constantly trying to look at spring 2018 data. I hit that, I do a search, and here are all the classes at Winchester this spring. Man, I can export that data, and I have a nice handy dandy report that I can use to show a lot of things, like what rooms use the most, seat fill ratio, and you know, just anything that you can think up of is available here to be able to do, to look in sections. A lot of people don't have access to all this in PeopleSoft either, and here it is, especially the instructor. A lot of times you're looking for a specific instructor, you want to know where they are. Well, I can pull up everything from the instructor level. So if I want to know all the classes that Bruce Manley's teaching at Winchester, I can add Bruce Manley, hit search, and look. I find all the classes. I'm only scheduled for one class, the Math 111 class, and it's got 19 students in it, Monday, Wednesday from 9:30 to 10:45. I'm probably not the best example there because I'm only teaching one class a semester, but Miss Huddleston teaches more. So let's see what Miss Huddleston teaches here, and search. She's teaching 2 classes, here this semester at Winchester. Well, maybe I want to know how many she's teaching at the whole college. Well, this semester I kind of have just the Winchester campus turned on, but what if I want to turn that off? Hit search, and look, she's teaching several classes, even some online sections right here at BCTC. So there are a lot of different options, different things you can do. You can search by date, subject, see from a historical perspective. Maybe I want to know over the last few years of spring terms, so I can do 4176, 4166, 4156, and I want to know, okay, what were all the math courses taught over those terms. And that gives me a nice little spreadsheet, a happy little spreadsheet of all the math courses taught. So you have calendars, academics, and events. Reporting we use a lot because sometimes you can set up a report subscription and get an email of all the events going on in the next 7 days at your campus. If you want that, contact me and I'll tell you how you can do that. But you can go in and play with reports, and there's a lot of different options on pulling some pretty cool data off of Astra. Under calendar, I showed you scheduling grids, but you also have the calendar option. Which shows you a calendar kind of in a calendar view of everything going on. And we have things going on Danville's campus. You can even list it out, or you can do a day, a week, or a month view. So that's pretty cool. Calendar search gives you your standard search filter options right there. This is only showing events here, so it's kind of like a special event calendar, but we have academics turned off. If we turn on academics, that list is going to be a little overwhelming. If it's going to, yeah, look at that. It took it just a little while to populate because it's showing everything going on there. So for calendar view, I kind of like to just look at the events going on. So remember that the main things are your scheduling grids, you start scheduling a room just by clicking the grid that you want after you choose the calendar, looking at the data. So here we want to choose maybe the AT building at Cooper. Click on the cell you want, it pops up, create event, multiple, recurring, just like if you were scheduling a recurring event in Outlook. You can do daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and everything's pretty much the same. You can't really mess it up, you can't go wrong. I tell people if you can book an airline ticket online, pretty much you can figure out the steps to kind of go through and figure out Astra scheduling. Then your academics is a great resource because I think it's easier to pull out academic data from Astra than it is in PeopleSoft. And the events is where you have a spreadsheet view of all the events that are already created. Choose a calendar, go back to Winchester, make sure we did take off the party hardy so that people don't think we're partying when we're really not. And you can always go back to your home page. And that's pretty much the overview of Astra Schedule version 8. If you used Astra in the past, this looks a little different, but I think it's pretty much the basics are the same. So if you have any questions, you can call me, contact me. My number is 859-246-6662 or bruce.manley@kctcs, and we will help you with whatever you need. Appreciate it, and looking forward to working with you with Astra Schedule version 8.